And listeners at home, I'm glad to be invited and be part and parcel of this show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Gaolatlhe Maseloa will be hanging out with us for the next 5 to 10 minutes, getting into all things regarding public affairs. You know that right here on Vuga Breakfast Show, we bring you all the relevant information and knowledge when it comes to various topics of discussion. And, we try to bring relevant people who are very well versed with all of these things that we get into right here on #Vuga Breakfast Show. So if you are perhaps wondering what public affairs is, or perhaps maybe you've never heard of the term public affairs, this is the time now to tune in and listen and try to learn as much as you can from Mr. Gaolatlhe. And Gaolatlhe Maseloa is actually an educator at the Southwest Gauteng College, right? Yes. SWGC, Southwest Gauteng College, yes.
Formerly known as Manu.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
We
call it, we refer to it as Manu, Luko Midlands. And he will be, sharing all the knowledge and what he teaches when he's in the classroom with his students when it comes to public affairs. So once again, welcome, Gaolatlhe. We appreciate you taking the time. We really do. So, without any further waste of time, Mr. Gaolatlhe, before we get to what you teach in the classroom, let's first try to define the term public affairs. Public affairs, what should one think of?
When you talk about public affairs, to unpack it, we'll say we're talking about issues that are affecting the society or the public, both negatively and positively.
Yes, sir.
But however, when you look around, when you go around, you'll realize for now so many things that are affecting the public negatively are many than the ones that are positive.
Oh, I see. I see. So when you have a first-year student walking into your classroom who has never, heard of the term public affairs and is not knowledgeable with what public affairs is, what is the first thing that you as Mr. Gaolatlhe teach them when a student walks into your class?
No, the most important thing, around our society,
yes, sir.
Public education is lacking in terms of so many things. When people talk in the streets or in meetings, they talk uninformed information. You understand? Yeah. Because right now, we can take for an example, the high rate of unemployment that is there in our society.
Yes,
it's a
sir.
social issue,
yes, sir.
that brings among so many factors. I understand. It has got so many results that are bad because crime arose from the unemployment. You understand? Think of someone who doesn't have any means of survival. During the day, he's unemployed, and then that particular individual doesn't have a bread on the table or a body to feed. Even the open spaces in our societies, they bring us a lot of crimes because now they are the hotspots.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Re Gaolatlhe ante ke botsa ganyane batho ma modimo gore ga o ka rotletsa batšha ba ileng gore santsane ba le bannye o ka ba rotletsa yang gore ke eng mosola gore bone ba tsame ba ye sekolong ba tsame ba go ithutela public affairs ka gonne ga re setse re bua puo pha batšha ba bantsi bone ga ba itse le gore ke mosola wa public affairs le gore wa go thusa mmuso yang.
I think in our respective offices of councillors, what needs to happen, offices needs to be established that will help in assisting in addressing that particular matter. You understand? The youth must participate. Youth platforms, because we've got youth forums in our societies. Then those youth forums must be engaged or must be roped in so that they can educate the masses as early as possible, so that now they can know their responsibilities and the responsibility that education comes with. Because at the ultimate end, you find the youth, they fear for the unknown to go to school. You understand?
Yes.
Yeah. Thinking that after finishing school, or maybe from grade 12 to university, or after grade 12 to the colleges, and then they won't find job. You understand? They fear that. Some will say, no, we don't have funding. But the state is playing a significant role in that NFSAS funding for those who qualify.
Okay, I hear you. So one of the other questions that I actually wanted to ask is that when we come to what the youth is at this moment, we may look, especially from an educator's perspective, as we look at the point where many programs that children end up studying don't have actually job opportunities out there. So what I want to know is that, do you think that considering studying public affairs will lead me to have a better job opportunity and will have the impact that it needs to have in terms of how civil society lives within South Africa?
We can say public affairs is under public management studies. Yeah, under public management studies, whereby now you learn how the administration of the municipalities operates, the national government, provincial government, you understand, in terms of the compliance. But when students are studying this, there's a vast majority of opportunities. Because out of those studies, you can become maybe editor, you understand? Yeah, that is why it is important to be communicable to the society, you understand?
Yes.
Expressing yourself. You did public finance, government has got government magazines, you understand? After for finance, Treasury has got the magazines. Treasury regulations, when you know them, you'll be the better editor, you understand?
I see you, Mr. Gaolatlhe. I'll see you. So, when I was going through some of the information regarding public affairs, it says, the practice of engaging, it is the practice of engaging with public and the stakeholders to influence policy and build relations, right? And the purposes include influencing policy, building reputations, and finding common grounds. So are these some of the things that you go through when you are in the classroom and engaging with the students and, teaching them what public affairs really is? Are these some of the things, or maybe the modules or the concepts that you guys go through in the teaching and learning in the classroom that takes place in the classroom?
Yeah, exactly. Because now in the, like when you talk about integrated development planning,
Yes, sir.
strategic management plan for the municipalities.
Ah,
Yeah, that uses the budget to prioritize the activities
Yeah.
of priority.
Yeah.
Then we'll talk about meetings, you understand. As a mandate of the National Parliament, IDP Vision 2030
yes.
was drafted in Parliament, but talking to municipalities. Yeah, and then one of the instructions to say, mandate is to say, for every meeting, an item of the IDP must appear in the notice of the meeting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now that on its own, for meeting to happen, people will discuss their issues that will need to be closed. You understand?
Yes.
Like maybe development of a stadium or a renovation of a swimming pool. Yes.
In our communities.
Yes,
Yes,
in
sir.
our communities. Now, the most important people here are the people at the local level.
Yes.
Because they are the ones who are directly affected. Yeah,
I was actually about to ask.
So we link it with what is happening in the communities.
Yes, I was about to ask, Gore, when all these stakeholders, because it says it is trying to build reputation and build relations and trying to find common ground with people at the ground level, right? Do now public affairs officers go out and do the necessary research as to what their local communities require, or how can we assist in any aspect of people's lives in general, in the general society? Do public affairs officers go out and do the necessary research and find out what is required to enhance and elevate the community that the people are living in and try to make it better?
Yeah, exactly. That is what is happening. You take, for an example, you find now in an area, most street lights are not working. But now the representatives of that particular area must go and talk to the councillor or directly call the city power, so that now the city power can come and light those lights, you understand? Because why? at some instance, most instances, when street lights are off, then it tend to become a crime spot, that particular area. That is why we are saying, people, there are representatives in the meetings, they go to the councillor and then talk to the councillor, and then that is how the engagement is happening. Yeah. Through the representatives, their concerns can be raised and taken to another level.
Very informative.
So one of the other things that normally people in Soweto would usually complain about is that as much as we have public affairs officers in and within our wards, spotting them is not very easy. I mean, sometimes you'd find that, for example, where we are, you find that a street light has been off for almost 3 to 6 months, but yet we have a public officer that is actually supposed to be looking after certain things or reporting certain things to government. So what I want to know is, how do we report the public officers if they fail to do their jobs? Because they're supposed to be serving the public,
Yes,
but
definitely.
yet we have so many things. We have meter boxes that are not working, that keep on blowing out, and it's not reported until somebody within that particular street actually goes to the councillor's office and say, okay, we have had a certain problem that has not been reported. Because one thing I've catched from what you've said is that this public affairs officers are actually people we live with, but yet we don't even know their title. So if they fail to do a job, what is a necessary step that needs to be taken from there to hold them accountable, because they are not supporting us as the public?
I beg to differ on that one because, people, most areas or most sections, they don't know their representatives out of not going to the meetings. Now, if you don't go, I don't want to protect anyone in the representatives or what. I'm just saying my observation, you understand? People don't go to meetings. And out of going not to meetings, they won't be able to know the representatives, understand, in their respective directorates. At the ultimate end, you won't have any contacts. Because once you attend meetings, you will know your reps. And then if such things happen, street lights, for an example, or crime spots identified in the open spaces, then it's easy to report that, understand, and action can be taken.
Okay, so what if I know them, for example, and I've reported them, then yet nothing has been done? Because I don't want to, I come from a community where I know my PA, and then, but I've reported it, but then the PA officer is not doing anything. How does one go about doing that?
That one, maybe you have to go directly to the council. Directly, if ever you feel the person who's handling your matter is not resolving it. I think you need to go directly to the council, the ward council.
Yeah. You know, Mr. Gaolatlhe, you are mentioning very, very vital things and very informative things. The one thing that you mentioned is that as individuals in our communities and in our societies and in our environments, we are not knowledgeable as to who our representatives are in our sections, in our wards, and so forth and so forth. And, it's something I would assume that you condone that people go and find out, like you're saying, who is the councillor of the ward? Who are the people who are working under him or her? And what are the responsibilities that come with those titles, like you just mentioned? And it speaks to the society being uninformed about such things, and not knowing what your roles are as public affairs officers and so forth and so forth. So, but as someone who's well versed, how do you keep current and up to date with the things that are happening with the development of, because we know we're living in an evolving world. So how do you stay current in the industry trends of public affairs?
Can you rephrase it?
How do you stay up to date with industry trends and the developments that keep happening and we keep observing and we keep experiencing in our communities with regards to public affairs? How do you keep up to date with the things that are happening on the ground now, as someone who is versed in the space of public affairs?
Individually, so it's upon individual responsibility.
Yes, sir.
To visit the offices. maybe it's the community. Like for an example, Kopano, you're living in Dobsonville, but you don't know what is happening at Kopano. There are activities so many activities that are happening. You understand? Meetings are happening. Abu Kreni, they've been held hostage, as an example, during the payday, the grants. So those are the things that we need to be very, very vigilant about. You understand? Notices of the meetings. We are told in the post box, and then you say, no, it doesn't affect me. You understand? Those are the things, because now those are the things that promotes for not knowing the representative. Yeah. Because in those meetings, you'll see, once you attend those meetings, you'll understand that, you start to understand the language to say, now, service delivery, what are they talking about? You understand? Yeah. Non-compliance, wasteful expenditure. You understand? People will start to understand that language. But immediately now, when you get to class and you hear those terminologies, it's easy for you, because now you've already done practical part of it. Yeah, but, yeah.
Hi guys, and I hope you all understand and fully understand that sometimes being ignorant is not always the best option. People say ignorance is bliss, but when it comes to your community and things happening in and around you, it is not very blissful. So please guys, make sure that you also pay attention to things that are happening in your community, because public affairs is not only about the representative that you get from your councillor, but it's also about you being publicly aware about things that are happening in and around you. So can you also kindly break down the one of the things that you also broke down for studying public affairs is editorial, right? So what are the other benefits besides being an editor that comes with studying public affairs? Because for example, for me, I actually did not know that if I did public affairs, I could become an editor. So what are the other benefits that are also linked to studying public affairs that people could also know about and be interested in?
No, let me clarify you on that. What I said is to say, now, out of studying public management, there are subjects that can lead you to become an editor. You create a career out of a career. You understand? Yeah. Out of that, you can create a career because of one of the subjects.
Oh, because of what you study.
Yes.
Very cool stuff. You know, Afri, I'm seeing here as I'm going through some of the information that I have that some of the things or some of the jobs that are related to, being versed and being knowledgeable about public affairs is, I see.
Out of all what you said, these people must be informative. Remember, for every department, it's got its own policy.
Yes.
You understand? Every department. Now, for one who does public management, must be able to, somebody who is ready to participate. You understand? That is why now, at the ultimate end, in our respective provinces, we've got provincial legislatures. I understand? Where if maybe the laws have been made, and then you can be able to go and participate as a normal somebody, a general individual. You understand? Yeah.
Wow. Very interesting, Afri. I don't know about you, but I'm learning quite a lot.
Hi, look, you're not the only person learning.
Yeah.
Now it has me thinking that maybe I should have just gone into public affairs.
Yeah.
I look at me, I'm already doing radio. I'm like, I should have just gone into public affairs a long time ago. Because I thought that if you wanted to be like a news anchor, you need to look for a straight up internship or learnership or an degree that speaks about becoming a news anchor.
Yeah.
Not knowing that if you study public affairs, you actually intertwine or you actually in sync with it one way or another. Public affairs is very interesting. Like, I can we should have had you a very long time ago. So I'm going to quickly head over to our social media comments. We have a comment from Hakim Kawa Atifat, and we also have another comment from Lord 47 Ati family. So everybody is tuning in right now and learning more about the different aspects that public affairs actually has and people that anybody could actually learn about out there in the world. So if a person were to go into it, what is the duration for learning? Because right now I see that it also intertwines with some of the other things that people actually are interested in terms of school-wise or career-wise. So what is the minimum time or the maximum time for doing any degree or diploma linked with public affairs or public management?
Yeah, at the college level, it will go for 18 months, which is 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. And then you go for training for a period of work-based experience for a period of 18 months. That will complete a 3-year cycle for a diploma.
Oh, wow.
And then at the university, it's a straight 4 years, public management and governance. That will go straight 4 years, and then you get your degree. Then you face the corporate world.
Yes.
Yes.
Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Mr. Gaolatlhe, I have something here that says public affairs is often considered a branch or sub-discipline of public relations. Practitioners may also work in all of these, job titles that I mentioned. So how does one differentiate between being a public affairs officer or being a public relations person? How do you differentiate between the two?
Individually, so if you talk about the PR, is someone who's tasked to face maybe in a community. Municipalities do have PRs.
Okay.
Those are the ones who are able to talk to the media, you understand?
Yes.
They should respond to the questions from the communities.
Yes.
Not everyone who can respond to that, unless it's not his directive, and then the municipal manager, for an example, will task him to respond to that.
So at a municipal level, can we have both a public affairs officer and a public relations officer?
No, it's a PR only. Public relations.
Public
officer.
relations.
Yeah.
So we can't have both at a municipal level.
Public management officers are those who are running the administration.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, are those running administration in the office.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. When we with regards to all of these things, that we are learning, and the segments that we go to, we, like I said earlier, we try to bring you the relevant people, and we always learn so much information, and we get so much knowledge and education from people who are well versed and people who've studied and know what they are talking about, as opposed to us trying to give you the little that we have found. So, Mr. Gaolatlhe, we would love, of course, to have you, some time again and dive deeper into some of the things and the sub-subjects that you go into and you teach your students. I don't know about you, Afribear, what do you think?
Would actually love to have you come back again. But then one of the other things I just wanted to know is that right now we live in a very advanced, technological advanced era where social media is paying homage to so many different things that are happening. So I just wanted to know what is the importance of having a PR person during the social media era that we currently have? Because right now, as the show started, we had to discuss a social media trend that was trending where a fellow musician was supposedly accused by another fellow musician for sexual assault. So as a PR manager, how important is it for you to be in sync in terms of social media so that you know how to handle situations properly?
Yeah, it is very, very important. The social media plays a significant role because now it's one way of communicating with the public so that the same public can come and participate in issues of consent in their respective, what do we call, communities, or wards. Meeting, Hot 47, and then the municipal manager will be there. Issues, service delivery. You understand? How do you communicate with the public? Either someone will use the SMS or the notice boards. You understand? Every means of communication. Because there are those people, even now, who are having about to. You understand? Yeah. So everyone at least is got an advantage if you use all the means of communication to the communities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Musi. So, I don't know if you have one last question before we close off the show. It's almost top of the hour.
Look, man, I feel like we've learned so much, and like I said, we would love to have Mr. Gaolatlhe back again with us. But if my information is correct here, I think Mo wants to come back. So, Mr. Gaolatlhe, we have a tradition here, like you saw earlier with Osvaldo. We have a little game that we like playing with our guests. Nothing too hectic. It's nothing too hectic. So you don't need to stress about it, you know. So I think maybe Mo is gonna take care of that from after we come back from the break, and then we'll let you go. But we really, really, really appreciate you taking the time, Obuti Gaolatlhe. And you know, Otsere Matsapa, you took your time and your effort to come and hang out with us and educate us and inform us with regards to all things public management, public affairs, and public relations. Because you know, like we said earlier, Afriperi, some people might not have known about all of the things that you shared. You know, some people might not have been informed about the term public affairs or public management and differentiating between all of these terms and all of these titles. You know. From a municipal level, that you as an individual in your community, in your local community, have the right to go and inquire about all of these things. So very, very informative, and we appreciate Obuti Gaolatlhe. So Afriberry, with that being said, I think we are okay for this week and for today, but we're going to go to the game and then we'll let you go, Mr. Gaolatlhe. Thank you so much.
Yes, guys, and I hope you had a fantastic time with us today on the VOOG Breakfast Show.